guys, this is Scott Hutchbeth with Agent Mastermind. Super excited to be here with you guys after a long weekend. Hope everybody had a great weekend, this Memorial Day weekend, and we're able to give some time, spend some time with family and friends, and pay the respects to those that have created so much freedom for us in the U.S. So I sincerely bow down to that and appreciate everybody either alive or have passed or that are creating this freedom that we have to do what we do on a daily basis. And I am here with my dear friend all the way from Colorado, Amie Streater. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Scott?
I am doing great. I think we're looking at your Facebook right now. I don't know if you have a PowerPoint or what you have on your screen, but that's pretty cool.
No, I'm just gonna chat, which is part of the points that I'm gonna be making today.
Okay,
so I
perfect.
thought I would just demonstrate it. Because yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say on this topic right now. I've actually been doing a ton of research, and I've changed some of my perspectives on how to handle social media in a business context. So I'm excited to talk about it.
How to handle social media in a business context. You know, I just got off the phone call with a private client, and one of her biggest struggles is when it comes to social media, her head hurts. And so I'll save that for the end, but maybe you can help us with that.
Okay. And the title that we have on this is how to be an innovative and how to be innovative in your engagement. And I want to layer professionalism into that because,
Perfect.
you know, as agents right now, a lot of people are talking about Zillow and how Zillow is going to start selling houses, and they're worried about technology, and they're worried about being irrelevant. And that's the last thing that I'm concerned about, because I feel like I can never be irrelevant to my people. And so my job is to stay relevant to my people. It's not Zillow's job to make me relevant. It's my job to make me relevant and to serve people and to serve my clients. So I'd love to just unwrap some of my thoughts on that with you today, Scott, if that's okay.
I love the term relevant, and that's a big term. So that would be amazing to share how you're staying relevant with, and really what it boils down to, correct me if I'm wrong, Amie, is helping people to remember who you are and what you do for a living.
Yes.
Would that be a fair statement?
Yes. Staying top of mind, but staying top of mind with relevance and appropriate levels of engagement. I
love it. All right. So so whenever you're ready, my friend, we are ready to start.
All right. Well, let's just go for it. So I see a lot of us have gotten very comfortable on Facebook, and sometimes we get a little bit too comfortable. And we have to remember that anything having to do with social media is permanent, and anything that you say, even if you delete it, it's going to have legs, meaning it's going to travel. People can take screenshots, and they can use what you say online against you if you're not prepared and doing things the right way. So the first point that I want to make is, and Scott and anybody on Facebook, feel free to ask questions, jump in, anything at all. I don't want to just be, like talking at you for the next few minutes. I'd love some engagement here, because what we're talking about engagement. So the first point that I want to make, I'd love to get some thoughts on this, and that is, be yourself, but not too much. Because there's a lot going on right now in the political arena. There's so much going on in terms of, that's very upsetting to a lot of people. So things like politics and religion, always, it's like Thanksgiving. You want to try to keep those off of your social media as much as you can, because the bottom line is, it's really not important how you feel about certain topics, because everyone has their own belief system. And there's a John Mayer song, and the line is, belief is a beautiful armor, but it makes for the heaviest sword. Like punching underwater, you can't ever hit what you're trying for. And to me, that kind of epitomizes what it's like when you're getting political and you're advocating for certain controversial topics on social media. I think if you engage with kindness and respect and a level of understanding that some people that you very much care about are going to have different opinions from you, it's going to kind of temper your inclination to just kind of go off on the current political climate. You never want to alienate a potential client or a friend or an advocate. And that's the power of social media. I talk to my team about this a lot because I'm constantly reminded that I have hundreds of advocates on social media who I've never met, and I may not even know that they're advocates, but I'll get a phone call from someone who wants me to list their home, and they got my contact information from a Facebook friend who doesn't even really engage with me publicly on Facebook, but they watch my posts. They like, maybe they've never even liked a post, but they absorb the information and they make decisions about who I am. And if I'm doing my job well, and social media is part of your job as an agent, then they're going to take your information, they're going to take their feelings about you, and then they're going to advocate for you in a way that can be very powerful for your business. But if you're constantly running your mouth about how you feel about, this politician, that politician, this issue, that issue, just speak with kindness all the time and try not to take stances on controversial topics. This doesn't mean that you have to be, politically dead or have your head in the sand. It just means you need to be smart about it. And none of us are 100% right about everything. So just, be quiet about some things and use some judgment there. And these hot button topics. Now, if you're, it's okay to take a stance on things that everyone knows are wrong, like human trafficking and things like that. But at the same time, what's really the point of getting into that on social media? If that's not your platform and that's not your role in society and that's not your job in the marketplace, then that's not necessarily something that you need to speak to. We need to be cognizant of how many times we're putting ourselves out there. And so whenever we do put ourselves out there, and I'm going to leave you guys with what I promised this morning, 3 things that you should have in every single post to increase your engagement. And when we get to that, you want to be selective about what you're posting. And if you're only posting 3 to 4 times a day, you need to pre-decide what those topics are going to be. And do you really want to waste one of those posts on something that, no one is looking to me to give them guidance on political matters. So just not going to engage on that.
I think so what you're saying is you can talk politics or religion, just know that you're going to alienate or lose 50% of your database instantly by doing it. Would that be a fair statement? I say not to do it. I say not to do it at all, but if you're going to do it, just know that you're in a fight that you're just there's no winning to be done, the way I look at it, by doing it on social media.
You're not going to change anybody's mind. And when it comes to those types of controversial topics, it's really not important what I think. I mean, there are some people that's their role and that's how they engage, and people do look to them and listen to them for guidance on those types of topics. I'm not one of those people. People are interested in what I know about the Colorado Springs real estate market. They're interested in what I know about lifestyle choices for home and family, and not to minimize anything that I do, because they're also interested in what I have to say about personal finance, because I'm also a financial coach and a published financial author. So those are things that my platform is built on. And so, part of knowing who you are and being effective on social media is knowing who you are, and stay to your topics and stay in your wheelhouse, and, try not to go off on tangents that are going to alienate the people that you need to support you. I mean, you should be hopefully on social media. It's social media. It's social. So when people get mad and they overreact It's like going to a party and then getting mad because someone else is talking at the party. That's not the purpose of Facebook. It's all about engagement. It's all about starting conversations or participating in conversations in a way that lets people know who you are and makes them want to engage with you further. And so if you're constantly going off the handle about things that aren't part of your wheelhouse and your contribution to your community, then you're just better off staying out of it.
100% agree. 100% agree. Why do you think? I think Facebook. The reason it's so powerful is that it gives us shots of oxytocin, dopamine, all these little things, and feelings of when there's sadness, feelings of warmth and love and stuff like that. And I think that some people do it to just get attention, whether it's the best attention or not the best attention. What are some things like when you talk about being yourself, and a lot of times we go, well, I want to just voice my opinion, and it's just not the right place to do it. When you say be yourself, a lot of people can't get past that part. They don't know I guess what I'm trying to say is, what's the best way to be yourself and be who you are on social media so that you can benefit from it or get the results you're looking for? Do you have some advice on that?
Yeah, and I think I know that people get stuck on this, especially people who feel like they need to engage more in social media in order to be effective in their business.
Right.
We have ideas in our head about who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to sound, and how we're supposed to present ourselves. But your ideas about who you should be have probably very little to do with actually who you actually are. None of us look perfect. None of us sound perfect. And none of us speak eloquently all of the time. But I think that if you can get past where you think you should be and get to a place where you can accept who you are, and if you don't value what you contribute, then maybe you're going to be a little showboaty to try to overcompensate for what you feel like maybe you lack. And I feel like that's extremely apparent on social media. And again, it comes back to, okay, who am I, and what's my sphere, what's my contribution, what am I contributing to the conversation? And maybe you write down, like, here's 4 or 5 things that I want to constantly be talking about and engaging in. But people feel like they have to post every day, and they have to share everything that they do. And and I used to be a serial overposter, because I
like that.
Yeah, you hear, okay, you got to be on this many times a day, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. You really don't. And to me, it comes from a place of, okay, what am I going to contribute that's of value? And so I'm getting to edit myself, that if, those of us who did the whole Marie Kondo thing, the Netflix series in January, and eliminating everything that doesn't spark joy and getting rid of all of the excess in your home, it was a beautiful process for me. It literally life-changing. And I can't say that I did exactly, her way of doing it, but I just started eliminating. And then I started realizing, you get internal with that, and you're like, wow, I can eliminate a lot of the things that I say, a lot of the things that I get upset about, a lot of my engagement, and you're going to have more energy, and you're going to be more valuable to the people who do tune in or listen or want to hear what you have to say. And so I would say, just define those areas and then be okay with who you are in that space. A lot of agents, I had an agent come up to me in Target, and she was a newer agent and super sweet. She had great energy, and she was adorable. She was like the cutest thing. And she's like, I love she was super, way more attractive than me. Not that that's hard to do, but she's like, I wish I could do what you do on social media. And I'm like, well, why can't you? She's like, well, I'm not a top agent. And I said, well, neither was I at one point. You know, you have to start somewhere. But she was just kind of gushing about, I'm doing all these things that she can't do. And she's cuter than me, and she's thinner than me, and she's younger than me, and she's more energetic than me. She's got all of these things going for her, but she's got it in her head that because she doesn't have a certain, you know, thing here and a certain thing here, she's got a lot of things that other people don't have. So you take what you've got and then you contribute that. You know, if you're trying to be someone else, if you're trying to be super entertaining, if you're trying to be, you know, Instagram celebrity, and that's not who you are, it just comes across as just, you know, kind of icky.
False. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that, and this might be off topic, but what would you, I think we have a lack of respect maybe for social media because it's free. It's a free platform to connect, engage, interact, build relationships, like deepen relationships. So maybe we don't have enough respect for it because it is free. And the other part is, I think that people think that there's going to be, or could be, or maybe there'll be instant results. So, and then they start it and they go, oh man, I did 2 videos, or I put 2 posts up there and I got nothing. And then they're back to, you know what I mean? And they're back to being defeated again. What would you say to like Amy? And I know you've been and I actually like that little series you did with like decluttering and throwing stuff. Like I actually like that. I was like, that's pretty good stuff. Maybe it's because I met you and knew who you really were and know how organized you are and know how detailed you are, all your notes and tracking and stuff. Maybe that was part of why I liked it, because I kind of knew you. What would you say to somebody about that when it comes to longevity and branding and amplifying your brand using social media?
Well, I mean, and I totally agree with you that we do kind of discount it because it's free and it's instant, and you can just get on there and poof, you know, like you said, get that dopamine rush and share a thought and get some engagement. And then sometimes if you don't get as much engagement, then you get your feelings hurt. Why did nobody like my selfie? You know, things like that. Facebook has 2 levels. There's your surface level. You know, think about a carrot, okay? A carrot that's in the ground. And your instant response and your messages that you get and what you see. So I'm looking at this list of folks right here who are watching. That is the green part on top of the soil, on top of the carrot. But the meat of the carrot is underground, and it's things that you can't see. And it's all the people who are going to watch this later and watch this months from now. And last time we did a webinar, Scott, I mean, for months I was getting private messages, phone calls from people who were just sharing. You know, it was humbling because people were coming to me with these huge decisions and wanting my input, and it humbled me to think that something that I said months ago was having an effect on someone to the extent that they were thinking about making significant changes in their life and their career. And so I think it only takes a couple of times where you see someone has taken a bite out of your carrot and you kind of just go, okay, whoa, I really need to put some thought into everything that I say, everything that I do, and know that regardless of what's happening in this moment, what I'm saying right now is going to have longevity, and it's going to affect people. And that's why I want to get into one of my, your question was a great segue into one of my tips here, and that is to always, always, always be professional. Always be professional. I've seen some things online just in the last week from other agents that just break my heart for what it's going to mean for them in the long term in terms of their career. I know as agents, sometimes we take ourselves too seriously, but what we contribute to our clients' lives and their financial health and well-being, we cannot take seriously enough. And if you engage in a way that is disrespectful, that is cruel, that is unkind, that is just going for shock value, deliberately trying to poke people or offend just for the sake of promoting yourself, to me is a huge disrespect to every client you've ever had, every client you're working with now, and every client that you might have in the future. We are dealing with people's most important asset. Most of the time, it is the thing that they own that is the most value. A lot of people have more equity in their homes than they have in value in their 401k and their retirement accounts and their savings accounts. It's just huge. And we need to have a little bit of gravity, you know, that, yeah, we're showing houses, and yes, we're personalities, and yes, real estate is fun. Real estate is entertainment. But at the same time, we need to take super seriously the trust that our clients are putting in us. And this is a decision that can affect them. You know, if you're good at your job and you do your job well, then that can mean tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to someone's bottom line. It's life-changing. And so everything that we say and everything that we do, we need to have fun with it. We absolutely need to have fun with it, and we need to be ourselves, but we need to temper that with a level of respect for what we do and what it means for our clients. And one thing that I think we all need to stop doing, and I've done this in the past, and I'm never aware of it having had a negative effect, but I heard another agent, I was listening to another webinar with a couple of agents having a conversation about professionalism. And one of them said, we are the only profession that goes on social media when we get paid and congratulates our client. And
true.
I thought, wow. I mean, that really kind of stuck. I mean, I listened to that a couple of months ago, and I think about that every single day. And I think that we have a tendency to exploit clients to promote ourselves, and I think that's a practice that needs to stop. I
would 100% agree on that. And not to cut you off, but there's ways to use it to benefit, you know, the client. Like, make it about the client instead of about yourself. Like when someone says, I had 3 closings today, that's self-fulfilling. Where if you said, hey, I was able to help 3 new families get into homes today, so exciting to be able to do something so awesome. It just makes me feel so good. You know, that comes across different, you know?
It does. And, you know, I see new agents who, I was seeing a new agent who was a Facebook friend, and like a couple of times a week, they were posting pictures of themselves in closing rooms and congratulations to the Smith family, congratulations to the Jackson family, you know, and I was like, holy cow. I mean, they've been licensed for like 6 months and they're having 3 closings a week. And so I went and pulled their numbers on the MLS, because that's what I do. I used to be a journalist. And so somebody's like, look at me, I'm gonna go check your numbers. And this person had 1 closing in 12 months. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you just hanging around at the title company and popping into, I don't get it. Whole disconnect.
Crazy.
And to me, that could be considered an ethics violation, because you're misleading the public about your business practices. So, you know, I think we have to be really careful. And, you know, our job is to represent our clients. Our job is to take care of our clients. Our job is to offer the best of ourselves and our utmost good faith, loyalty, and fidelity, to quote the Colorado listing contract. And is it really in the client's best interest to take a picture? Now, if they want a picture and they want you to do that and they ask you to do that, awesome. But when we're prodding them, and, you know, title companies now are making those signs, and realtors are making those signs, and please, I don't want to disrespect or cut down anyone who's doing this. If your clients love it and you're getting great feedback on it and your clients are asking for it, fantastic. But I don't know. I just think it's something that we really need to kind of think about. Should we be doing this? You know, and if you want to, I would say we need to ask them if they want to do it. And then we need to truly make it a congratulation and a post about them, and not a congratulation and a post about us. Because
100% agree.
that agent was right. I mean, we are the only industry that goes on, and says, hey, I got paid today. Congratulations to the people who hired me, and then at the same time, we want to lament that there's not respect for our industry. Well, we need to act respectful. We need to act professional. We need to, and one thing I noticed too. So like, okay, I'm going to go girly here for a minute, Scott, bear with me. But like, if you go into H&M or Marshalls or someplace like that, the clothes are just piled, right? I mean, they're just like packed super tight. And if you go into a high end, if you go into Prada, if you go into Chanel, if you go into Dior and look at clothes, you can have a rack that's 18 inches wide, and there's maybe 6 items of clothing on it. And there is luxury and simplicity, and more is not better. And finer things tend to be more sparse. And you don't see, and this is one thing, that just kind of hit me. You don't see really good, super ultra professional high-end agents touting every single closing that they have. They don't do it. Now, they tout their listings because it's our job to market listings. That's different. It's our job to say, look at this spectacular house. But there's a difference between saying, look at this beautiful home, and yay me, I got another listing. Okay, you're getting a lot of listings. You're doing really well if you're selling a lot of homes. You don't have to tell people every 15 minutes. They're gonna get it.
And so Jesse's asking a good question. So on the just closed picks, what are the ways should we show that we are active and successful in closing deals? I think it adds some sort of validity that we get deals closed, which it does.
It does. And so one thing that I do, I will do just closed posts. I don't do them on every single property that I sell, but I think it just depends on the property. Like when I sold a home that just, it was a brand new home by my favorite builder, and that house just touched my heart. I made a post, something along the lines of, I'm really going to miss this house. I'm so excited for the buyers who made the house their home, something like that. But if it's constantly, just look what I did, make it about the client, make it about the property, make it about the level of service you provide, and not constantly cheerlead yourself, if that makes sense. Rachel is asking,
absolutely,
do you have a separate family and friends Facebook and a separate for business? I do have a business Facebook account, and I have my personal Facebook account. That's all I have. I don't have something private, separate friends and family, because I feel like I can't separate who I am as a realtor from who I am as anything else in my life. I mean, I'm a wife and I'm a mom, and I'm obsessed with my pets, as you guys know. And, I love home stuff and organization stuff, and all of that is part of who I am. And so I don't try to separate those things out, because honestly, 99% of my success as an agent is because who I am as a human being, and who I am as a friend, and who I am as a neighbor. So I don't want to keep those things excessively separate. I do have a Facebook page for the business that I use primarily to post about listings and properties and things like that. I'm not going to post, dog pictures on my business page. And I try to channel a lot of my business posts towards the business Facebook page, but they're on the personal page as well, because again, it's part and parcel of who I am. So
here's another question Leanne asked. She says, how do you handle a poor review posted on your social media accounts?
How do you handle what?
A poor review.
Oh, a poor review. Oh, respond to it. I've had one bad review, and they gave me like no stars. And let me tell you what happened. So we had a house that, of course, was a house. We were at closing, and the sellers had done a lot of really nice things that weren't in the contract to benefit the buyers. And at the closing table, and I don't know if it was the buyers or their agent, but their agent thought that some of the things that the sellers did was not done well enough, and all of it was above and beyond. to be kind and to be good people and to try to leave the house in, the best possible shape that they could leave it in. And the agent, we were in separate closing rooms, thank goodness, because this agent had been just a volatile, hot mess, emotional nightmare the entire time. So he called me at the closing and started screaming profanities so loud that my seller, and Mr. Seller actually reached over and said, "May I?" and plucked my phone out of my hand and took the call.
Oh my God.
It was a beautiful moment because he handed this agent his butt on a platter. It was beautiful. So those buyers went on my Facebook page and left like a no-star review with no comment. Okay, well, the reason they weren't happy with me was because I did my job and I served my seller very well. And they were not in a position to take advantage of my client. And Mr. Screamer, he screamed at us for months, didn't help him one bit. So I responded, and then even better, my sellers responded to that review. So long way to say, use it to your advantage. If you did a bad job, own it. I mean, none of us are perfect 100% of the time. Comment on that review. If it's unfair, then comment on the review and say, I am really sorry that, that you feel this way. I gave you 120%. I gave you my highest and best. You can't make everybody happy. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, or whatever you want to say. But don't just not comment on it.
Take the high road.
And if it's spam, then report it. If it's not anybody that you've ever worked with, then report it. But I mean, if it's legit, own it and answer to it, and people respect that. And I think it shows that your reviews are valid and they're legit, and it's not just your mom and your grandma and your aunt and your uncle and your best friend and your fans posting. I mean, that it's actual real engagement from people who do business with you. So just use it. Do I still have you? You got kind of quiet there. Okay, I'm hoping I didn't lose Scott, and I hope we didn't lose the webinar feed. Facebook peeps, are you guys still there? Okay, I lost Scott, I think. If you guys are on the Facebook Live, if you could just like post here or something so I know if like where the connection got lost, that would be awesome.
Sorry about that.
There you are.
I got a question for you that I think really trips people up and keeps people from putting themselves out there, and it's the fear of other people's opinions. And the chance that you might get a comment that you don't like and stuff like that. How did you overcome that fear of other people's? Because I think we live our lives, so to speak, through what other people will or won't, like, whether it's good or bad, will think about us. How'd you overcome that?
Well, I started my professional life as a newspaper reporter, so other people parcel in my life for a very long time. So I may not be the right person to ask about that. But I'm also, on the DISC profile, I'm a high D and I'm a high I. So I have very strong opinions, but I also get my feelings hurt very easily. So that's a little fun personality dichotomy that I have going on. But I think we need to listen to other people's opinions, and we need to listen when people don't agree with us, and we need to engage with them, and we need to learn from them. Like I said at the beginning, we don't know everything and we're not right 100% of the time. And so when people check us and you listen to that and you respond with grace and kindness, it elevates your position in social media. It helps more people engage with you and take what you have to say, because if you're just like, this is what I'm saying and I'm right and you're wrong, nobody wants to hear that. People want to have conversations. Right. They don't want to be talked at. Right. And if someone disagrees with you, okay, they disagree with you. If somebody says something ugly, then they're just an ugly person, and you can't internalize that. To be quite honest, every now and then, because I post on YouTube and I'll do property videos and some of them are hosted, I've had people say really horribly ugly things about my weight. And I know that would probably be devastating to a lot of women. But I just kind of go, wow, that's how hard a life you have, that you can just go on YouTube and criticize somebody's weight. I mean, could I be thinner? Absolutely. Could I lose 30, 40 pounds? Absolutely. But that is not my priority right now. And it's nobody's business. And the funny thing is, I am the exact average size of the average woman in America. I'm a 14, 16. There it is, people. But so is the average woman. And I have given life to 3 wonderful young men, including a set of twins. And, what people don't understand or care about is, what that does to a woman's body. And some women, and yay for them, they can make it a priority to get that back. I'm a fabulous cook. I'm a fabulous cook. And it's
next time I'm out there, I'm gonna take you up on that too. Next time I'm out there.
Next time you come in town, I make the world's best fried chicken. I'm not kidding.
I'm in.
Another coach that I heard, she said a lot of people, she's like, you all need to be doing video. And I disagree. I don't think everyone needs to be doing video. I don't think every agent needs to be doing video. If you hate video, don't do it. It's that simple. Right. Everything that you're doing to promote your business should be natural for you. And if you don't feel natural, if you just die inside at the thought of doing something like what I'm doing right now, then don't do it. Do something that's true to who you are. But she said agents will come up to me all the time and say, well, I can't do video because I'm ugly. And she's like, well, yeah, you're ugly, but everybody already knows you're ugly, so just do the video. And, everybody knows what I look like. Everybody knows that I'm not a size 4. People know that I get a little bit lispy sometimes in my speech, and my Texas twang comes out. Well, so what? I mean, who cares? If I'm not perfect, all right, well, neither is anybody watching it. And if people are going to want to pick you apart on that level, then you don't need to be listening to their opinions anyway. So hopefully that helps somebody who needs to get past criticism. Criticism is just that. It's just criticism. You can either take it or leave it. I mean, that's your choice. And if people want to be ugly, well, then they're just ugly, and you can leave that and walk away.
So one of the things I've heard, I think it was from Grant Cardone, that was one of the big things for me, is because I believe if you're not running hard enough, you're not, and you don't have haters. Someone asked, should you allow testimonials or good, bad, the ugly on your social media? The cool part about social media is you can delete it and block them. And so if you're not getting haters, you're flat out not running hard enough. And so what he said was, a lot of times when somebody says something to you.
Oh, I lost you again, Scott. He was talking about haters. I'll just kind of fill in for the question. If you're putting yourself out there, you're gonna have haters, and who cares? And you can block them. There are some people who push me in a funny and engaging sort of way, who are always going to disagree with me no matter what I say, and I keep those people. The people that I don't keep are the people who watch my stuff, never engage, and then talk crap about me behind my back. This is not junior high school, and I don't have the patience for it. So, excuse me. And so people who want to, there's a meme that says, if you don't like me, but you watch everything I do, you're a fan. Well,
sorry.
Hey, Scott, I'm answering your question. So we all have a lot of fans, people who are friends with us on Facebook, and then everything that you do and everything that you say, I mean, they're paying attention to it, but they never engage with you. And thank you, Doug, I'm real. Everything that they do, everything that you do and everything that you say, they got to talk about it after the fact. So I give
Yep.
people a lot of grace, and I don't get engaged very much in gossip and stuff like that. But people who are just there to drag you down and aren't engaging with you ever in a friendly or meaningful or helpful level, just unfriend them. I mean, it's a
Unfriend them, block them.
button.
Yeah.
And here's
It is,
guys,
man.
let me tell you something. You can be friends with someone in real life and not engage with them on social media. Did you know that? I mean, people are like,
oh my God.
Well, yeah, you can if they're a distraction on social media or they're negative on social media, but you love them in real life. Have them in your life in real life, but maybe not on. I mean, I have a relative who I love cannot handle them on social media, and so I'm not Facebook friends with them. I love them in real life. I even have a couple of friends that they're just negative Nelly on social media, and so I'm not connected with them on social media. And that is one point that I really want to make here, Scott, and this is so important, and that is you can identify problems, but don't complain. Identifying problems is, okay, so here's something that I've talked about on social media a couple of times, some issues with our local association, and I'm so grateful for everyone who volunteers and works for our association and helps get things done. But there have been some policy changes that have made things really difficult for us. For example, we no longer have day codes. So Denver agents coming to show our houses here in Colorado Springs have to do this app thing, and it's a nightmare. And I end up spending hours a week running around letting Denver agents into houses because this whole day code thing is a nightmare. Okay, I've identified a problem, but I'm not going to complain about it constantly. I will periodically, like I just did, re-identify the problem, reassess my opinion that this is hurting our business and it's hurting our ability to serve our clients, but I'm not going to complain about it. And some of y'all, I'm sorry, I love you, but some of y'all are Eeyore on Facebook. My head hurts, my knees hurt, I'm tired. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares if you don't feel good. Nobody cares if you're sad about the current state of the political environment. Everybody is. Move on, contribute something, and complaining is never contributing anything. So you can identify a problem, preferably identify a solution with the problem, and then move on. Don't use Facebook as a place to vomit every frustration that you have in your life.
100%. I love that advice, and that is 100%. I'll back you up on that. Yeah, take it offline, right? Yeah, take it offline.
Right.
Awesome. So what other questions do we have for Aimee today? Let's see. Dave's like, hey, so love Uncle G. Yeah, no kidding. He's awesome. So it says, and this is, I want to touch on this. And Aimee, you said that you don't have to post every day. And Dave's like, her philosophy is different than Gary Vee. He says post multiple times a day. But that becomes a job. Like, what would your advice be to Gary Vee's analogy when you have content or contacts? He talks about, I'm a huge Gary Vee fan, to somebody that's never posted. What should I, how should I get started? What would you recommend?
It goes back to knowing yourself, knowing who you are, and do you have something meaningful and engaging to say? Don't post 4 times a day because someone tells you to post 4 times a day. Gary Vee 4 times a day has something meaningful, engaging to say.
Absolutely, he does. Yeah.
Don't have anything meaningful, engaging to say 4 times a day. If you have something to say, if you have an experience to share, then share it. But don't try to check boxes. And again, be true to who you are. I'm a very loquacious person. I tend to have a lot of things to say. I can post multiple times a day, and I hope, and I know I'm not always hitting the mark, but I hope that most of the posts that I post are at least entertaining or engaging or helpful, or they solve a problem, or they're encouraging, or they're, a lot of it though is, I honestly, sometimes I'm just trying to get a laugh, or I'm trying to share some of the experiences that we have as agents, because again, real estate is entertainment. But don't overpost, and don't go on to post just because you think you're supposed to post 4 times a day. If you're a more introverted person, if you're a very thoughtful person, if you're a more serious personality, then you may be posting 3-4 times a week. But if there is value and quality in those 3 to 4 posts a week, you're going to have better engagement than someone who posts 3 to 4 times a day, and most of it's just garbage.
Amen. Perfect. Yeah. So starts. I mean, like the whole idea, and disagree with me if you disagree, but the whole idea about anything we've talked about today using social media is all about getting to a conversation with somebody that could be a potential client, reminding them of who you are and what you do for a living, and then staying in front of, top of mind with your fans.
Right. It's not to get people to like you.
That's right. Thank you. Yes.
It's not. You're not going on here or Mrs. Popularity. You're envision Facebook is like, it's like a party, and there are little groups clustered around, and then there are people who mill around and work the room, and then there are people who try to dominate every conversation, and that's not the person that you want to be. You're at a party to have a good time and to meet some new people and to see your friends and to thank the host and to be a good guest, right? And with social media, you're there to, thank people who contribute to a conversation that you enjoy being a part of. You're there to meet new people. Right. You're there to see some old friends. You're there to check out your neighbor's house, see what other people are doing and thinking.
Nosy neighbors.
We forget about that. We forget about Facebook as a beautiful place to learn new things and see if someone has an opinion that's different from yours. Why do they feel that way? If someone thinks realtors are superfluous and unnecessary, okay, why do they feel that way? Let's engage and let's listen. Shut up and listen rather than being defensive and argumentative. You wouldn't go up at a party and go, well, but we feel like we can do that on Facebook. Well, listen and engage. And if you do that enough consistently and see, Facebook is not, again, it's the carrot. It's not the green stuff that pops up as soon as you make a post. That carrot, what's growing underneath the soil is who you are cultivating yourself to be in the public sphere over a significant period of time. That doesn't happen in a moment. And so if you're consistently thoughtful and asking good questions and engaging in a meaningful way, then you're going to have a nice leafy top to the carrot, but you're also going to have a nice big healthy carrot under the soil. That's what your social media business is built on. It's that people know, okay, I can call and I can ask her, or I can private message and I can ask her maybe an uncomfortable or awkward question, and I already know how she's going to respond because I've observed her or him over a significant period of time. And I know, give people confidence that you're a rational and intelligent person who's not just there to talk at them, but to engage with them.
I love it. And there's a big shout out from Marvis. Thank you for being here, Marvis. It says, I think it is great that there is a down-to-earth person that we can turn to on our business without feeling there's so many must-dos out there that don't really fit our personality or style. I love you, Aime.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
Yeah.
I promised that I would share 3 things to increase engagement. 3 things you should do on every single post to increase engagement. And you don't have to do all 3 of these things, but you should at least do 1 with most of your posts, unless it's just a cute picture of your dog. Because I post pictures of Fox in the thinking chair all the time. Okay. 3 things you can do to increase engagement. The first thing you can do is you can ask a question. No one wants to hear "Thus saith the Lord" every time you go on Facebook, and we all know who those people are. And they'll get on there, we're going to be like, here's my opinion on this today. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't care what your opinion is, okay? So ask a question. If there's something that you don't know, or if there's something that you don't understand, and don't, I see agents doing this like, hey, tell me what your favorite burger restaurant is. Well, you live here, Google it, don't ask questions that you can Google. Ask questions like, if, so here's a good question.
Hey,
why, maybe you're interested in getting listings in a particular neighborhood, and you could go on a Facebook group and you could say, hey, I am interested in selling homes in this neighborhood. If you live there, can you tell me what is your favorite thing about living in this neighborhood? That's not salesy. It's a natural question, and it's going to
Love it.
educate
Yeah.
you on what's great about that. The number two thing that you can do is solve a problem. If you're a professional and you're engaging in the marketplace, then you should be an expert problem solver. And one thing that Tom Ferry says is there's a direct correlation between your income and the level of problems that you solve. So if you want to make more money, then you need to be prepared to solve some very high level problems. And so sometimes when unusual situations pop up, and again, real estate is entertainment, sometimes I'll talk about, hey, here's what happened and here's how we solved the problem. And that's, and just do it in a way that's very, you don't want to be like, look at what I did. Nobody cares about what you did. They care about a problem being solved in a meaningful way that helps someone. So do it in a way that's humble, that's kind, and is not, braggy. But freely give information. And a lot of times, we tend to think, well, I have this thing and I have this little nugget and I want to keep it for myself. But if you're constantly coming from a place of contribution every single day, people are going to want to engage with you because you're going to learn something. And if they don't use you as an agent, but they took the information they learned from you and they helped their not so great agent solve a problem, you still contributed something meaningful to the universe. So be happy about that. And then the last thing is encourage. Encourage, encourage, encourage. Now, this isn't to say every single day you got to post a picture of a sunrise and an inspirational quote. There's a lot of that on social media, and I don't feel like if I see a really good one, I might share it. I don't feel like that's my contribution to the social media space. To be like, be the smile in someone else's day. That's not who I am as a person. And if I started posting stuff like that, people would know that I was full of crap because I'm more sassy, I'm more ironic, I'm more grumpy cat than sunrise mean kind of person. Tell me what's your favorite. I heard a question.
Sorry about that. Nope, that was me. My mistake.
But be a source of encouragement. Be a source of encouragement that's authentic for you and who you are. And everything that I'm saying here today, filter back through who are you as a person and be that person on social media. If you're not the sunshine and rainbows type of personality, don't be sunshine and rainbows on Facebook because it's fake. Always be yourself. But be yourself.
Not being you, yeah.
But better, and be yourself, but not too much. So be a source of encouragement. The world is full of negative voices, and everyone wakes up every single day. Remember this, people. I don't care how someone acts on social media. Everyone wakes up every single day, and in some way they feel like they're not enough. In some way they feel like they're failing. If I knock it out of the park, and we're failing every single day. If I am knocking it out of the park in my business, if I get 2 listings and get a house under contract and have happy clients and it's like the best real estate day ever, I can guarantee you I've been a crappy mom that day because I can't give 100% to my clients and give 100% to my kids. If I've given 100% to my kids, I've not been so great to my husband because
you gotta give.
Attention. Something, you are sacrificing something every single day. And so if you can go in and you have to get into this mindset of stop judging what everyone else is doing. Stop thinking that your path is the right path. Stop thinking that everything that you do and you say is the right way to do things. Go into every single day expecting to learn something from someone that you engage with online. And come from a place of a contribution and encourage other people to come from a place of contribution. And again, it doesn't have to be the sunrise meme, but be transparent and be honest and do it in a way that is going to help someone else maybe who feels like they're failing that day. Especially, women, we're so self-critical. And I've had people, again, going back to, the how you look thing. Women are so scared of putting themselves out there and being criticized about how they look. But if you can go and be yourself and be imperfect, then you're going to encourage someone else that their level of imperfection for that day is okay. So
love it.
Yeah, so ask questions, solve problems, and encourage others.
I love it, Amy. That was amazing, and a lot of great feedback like through the whole process. And I just appreciate you more than you know, putting yourself out there and just making it real. And I think we need more of that in this world today. It's just realness, instead of like what you see is what you get with you. And I know that because I physically met you face to face, and it was awesome. And so for anybody on this, I can't. And you said it more than once. Be yourself, because you will attract the right people by being yourself. And I can't. And you'll keep away the wrong people that you don't need. You don't need the whole universe to love you or like you. You just need your small group and small sphere of influence, and that's all. So, congratulations on your success.
Thank
you. You always bring so much value to our classes, and I appreciate you being a member of the Agent Mastermind community and always giving back. And I sincerely appreciate that.
Well, Scott, I just really appreciate you and your heart, and you care just so much about agents and helping them not just have better businesses, but to be happier and more effective people. And your level of concern and care for this community, it comes through in everything that you do, and I really appreciate it.
You bet. It's been a fun ride, to say the least, and the people I'm meeting, and and I get to meet amazing people like yourself. So it's just been so fun. And the best part about you and all the people that I meet is we're all givers in this community. It's just a bunch of Agent Mastermind, just a bunch of givers, and it's so nice and refreshing to have so many givers in one group, to where you just can ask any question you want. So if you guys aren't part of the Facebook group, Amy's part of the group. She's always interacting with us. Go to facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. I would highly recommend that you watch Amie or follow Amie as well. She does some great social media marketing and branding and amplifying of her brand, and she's just always out there and growing all the time. So congratulations. I can't thank you enough. So thank you for being here today, guys. And Amie, you're welcome anytime you want to come back. I just love the realness that you bring to the table, and thanks again for being here, and thanks again for being you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate it. And anyone,
all right, guys, same time. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Amy.
No, I was going to say, just please feel free to reach out, friend me on Facebook, PM me, whatever. I mean, I'm super easy to engage with, and you can ask me any question. I promise I won't judge you.
Be careful what you said. There's a lot of people here, so you're gonna get a lot of friends, a lot of new friends. All right, cool. All right, guys, same time, same place next week, right here on Agent Mastermind. Have a good day. Have a great week. Get out there, have some fun, and we'll see you guys on the web. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. All right, Facebook peeps, that was it.